a sweet garden spot in my memory. 'Tis the place I was born and reared. 'Tis long years ago since I left it, and return there I will if I'm spared.
Nestling on a sleepy hill, the little town of Tulla looks out on the world-renowned musical area of East Clare in Ireland. Shannon International Airport, which has daily flights from Europe and the US, is only 20 minutes away. As Saint-Emilion in Bordeaux is famous for its wonderful wine, the vintage in Tulla is Irish traditional music. It's part of everyday life. It's in the schools, in the pubs, even on the street, and people here talk about it with passion and enthusiasm. Last night's session will be keenly discussed outside the local shop on a Saturday morning. It's fair to say that music defines East Clare.
Well, when I came to Tulla in 04, the convent and the convent school were by then vacant for quite a number of years. And there was some difficulty in relation to establishing exactly the title of the convent property and the parish property. So eventually, when that got sorted out, I had some discussions with Sister Anne Doyle and Sister Kathleen Minogue from the Sisters of Mercy with a view to the future usage of both the convent building and the convent school building. By then, they had become sources of vandalism because they had been closed up for a number of years, and windows were being broken and all kinds of unpleasant things were happening. So I suppose we were all anxious to move the situation along where these buildings would be used for proper purposes. So one day I was downtown, I think it was a showery day, and I took shelter in the butcher's shop and I met Breda, and I mentioned to her that the property was becoming available if perhaps Comhaltas would have any interest.
I got involved with the Cnoc project in 2010. The Sisters of Mercy were looking for an organisation in the parish of Tulla to take over the convent and primary school buildings. They had vacated the premises in 1998 and they were starting to become derelict, so they approached the parish of Tulla to see if any organisation would have a use for them. I was in the Comhaltas organisation and we were already looking for a home for Comhaltas. The name Cnoc translates as the wine-swept hill, and it was actually Sister Eileen Callan, one of the Sisters of Mercy who had lived here, who suggested the name Cnoc. It's a beautiful sounding name. It was made famous in the song Lament for Tommy Daly, written by Brian McMahon from Listowel in the 1970s, and the first line was on the wine-swept hill of Tulla, so we thought Cnoc would be an appropriate name. To date, it has established itself as a Comhaltas Cultural Centre. It's one of 17 Comhaltas Cultural Centres on the island of Ireland. The ground floor is fully operational at the minute, so we have classes on a weekly basis with a footfall of about 300 people going through the doors to classes here every week. It also has established itself on the National Comhaltas Session Trail, where we have session here every summer for the locals and tourists entertainment, and we have a session group, a resident group of musicians here who perform regularly here at the centre.
Well, tá sim mhór mar a sódit ba ma cheach feig na blianta, agus tá sim mhór gam ins na himachtaí go léir Harlíonn an seo. Múnim rang gailge an seo gach tróna ar luan, agus rang cehar cuig sa sé daltaí a hagan chuam, agus is óntach an méid gailge gur féidir a bhuaine in uair a clíg, nuair atá simig na daltaí an. Bíonn circeil cainte gan freisin gach ihe déirdín, agus tagamid le chéad, agus bímid ag plé cúsaí an tail, agus sprean nó é sin, agus sin cóiríim le ein uair íltar an cóiríim leis an Christian seo.
Cnoc is important to the community of Tulla, I suppose, in the first place because the fact that the building, which is a building of historical and heritage significance, has been restored beautifully to its original state. So it has transformed the derelict building into a really beautiful building at the centre of the village of Tulla. It contains a musical archive. It has classes here every week evening with a footfall of over 300 people per week attending. It has been used as a venue by local clubs and organisations for meetings, seminars, performances. So in that sense it is a big asset to the community. Musically it's a huge asset to the community in that to the music world, that it is a fantastic audio, visual and photographic archive of the great musicians of the past, and it gives a platform to the present musicians to perform.
I have been involved in the Cnoc project since its opening phase in 2010. I am a member of the session group here, Cnoc, who perform regularly throughout the summer. We also perform at other occasions during the year. Last year, Cnoc travelled over to Washington DC to represent Cnoc and County Clare. We performed at the Irish Embassy and at concerts and other events over there. From my experiences with Cnoc, I have gained an awful lot, and I'm really looking forward to the future.